What's up, guys? Urameshi here. We're going to be doing another episode of VRchat Paranormal Stories, where we go asking people on VRchat from all around the world if they've ever experienced anything paranormal. Tonight we have a bunch of crazy stories from ghosts, sleep paralysis, aliens. It's going to be a bunch of fun. Hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks. Let's get into it.
Okay, so it was in South Carolina. It was a tour of, I think, an old jail, maybe? Something along those lines. A jail, maybe like a old mental asylum. I forget, to be quite honest. But they were telling us, we were in a room, and it was just like a history tour, so it wasn't, it was, they called it a ghost tour, but it's not like we were specifically hunting for ghosts. It was more like learning about the history of the place. And the room we were in, they were telling us that that room is where people usually saw like things happening or orbs or shit like that. And when he said that, I saw an orb fly past his head in front of the window. And my uncle was with me, and I was like, "Oh my god, did you see that, bro?" And he's like, "Yeah, I saw that shit," and no one else noticed it except us two. So we might have been tripping, but we thought we saw an orb. But that's the only real ghost story I have, I feel like.
That was you and your uncle?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all were drinking moonshine? South
John.
Carolina?
Ew.
Ew.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You ever been down to Saint Denis?
These have stories? Saint Denis? Yeah.
You been down to Saint
Let's
Denis?
go.
So I'm walking down this alley, right? It's a midday, sun's up, so the skies are clear, and I'm looking up. I'm always looking up towards the sky. That's what I do, and usually,
Right.
people that do that are the ones that actually get to see things. So I saw like an airplane in the sense of like a jet, like the Silver Surfer from Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the silver of that color, you know what I mean? So I saw like a flying object flying by, and I'm like thinking nothing of it. I'm like, oh, it's just a jet or something. And I'm like still walking down this alley, and I look back to see if it's still there, and it is. But as I'm like slowly looking away, it warps into like a thin, like it just shifts, like it's an oval looking thing, and then it just flattens out and fucking disappears. And what really fucks me up, or I don't mean to cuss, I'm sorry, because it's really it's that intense.
No,
What
you're
really
good. Be
messes
yourself. Be
me
yourself.
up, bro, is if if it really was an airplane or anything, the fact that it was just something in the sky in general,
Right.
it was so clear outside that you can see from miles away an airplane flying away from the distance, just from where I've seen it, that you can see it take off, or from like, it's way over there now. But it was nowhere to be found. Once it did the whole shift, it was nowhere to be found in the sky, bro.
Huh.
So I'm just like, yo, like, where could it have gone if there was anything, even if it was a helicopter in general? Where the hell did it go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it
Did it
didn't
make any noise?
it didn't land. It took one glance. No, it didn't, bro. It was literally one glance. Cause I'm walking away from it. That's the funny thing. I'm walking away from what I've seen. So when I turn my neck back behind me, I'm watching it shift, and then I'm like, what did I just see? And I look back again, and it's gone. So I'm looking everywhere in the sky, like, yo, like, where did it go? Like, it can't. There's no clouds out. And I live in Arizona,
Yo.
so I don't know if they're testing like high speed, you know what I mean, or anything that has to do with like quick speed, bro. Because even if it wasn't aliens, that's too fast for it to just not be still in the sky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get that.
And
And
then
that's actually
yeah,
the fact that you said that it made no noise validifies your testimony, because that's a reoccurring thing I hear in
no
the
noise. Yeah.
UFO encounters that I've heard, that I believe. Like, a lot of them are like extremely detailed, and they always involve there being no sound.
no sound, bro. And I'm seeing the, you know what really caught my eye? This was crazy. Like, how did I see something, you know, if I'm not really like paying attention? It's because it was so shiny that the light from the sun beamed off of it and it glared at me. You know what I mean? Like the shine. And I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, what was that shiny thing? And it was reflecting off the you know, the metal or whatever
Right. You
silver
caught the glimmer.
material it was, and I caught the glimmer.
Yep.
And that's why I was like walking away from it, and I just kept turning back, looking up like over my shoulder, like what is that? And then just instant, just from an oval shape to a line and back to an oval shape, and I'm just like, yo, I'm tripping. And I look one more time and it's gone. You know what I mean? And then I actually called one of my good friends up to let them know my experience, just so I had, you know, documented that I seen something at that time. Like, yo, like I think I just saw something, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And then the paranormal thing, I feel like even though you can't see it, we say it's ghosts and stuff. You know, you ever go to sleep and you somehow think about the most scariest shit before you go to bed for no reason? You know what I mean?
Only
So
when I watch like
at the time,
murder documentaries or something like that, which I don't
yeah,
watch too
you know what
much
I mean.
often anymore.
You kind
Like,
of psych yourself out before you go to bed. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Well, my thing was, at the time I was a kid, and the movie The Grudge was scaring me, and I would be like, you know what? I'm not afraid of this grudge. You know, I would do you know, I'll do that sound to myself, and then I was just like, I went to bed happy knowing that, you know, I'm good, I'm not afraid.
Right.
Tell me why in like in my deep sleep, and my head's by the wall towards the window, and there's no other neighbor next door, bro. Yes, bro. But it sounded so it sounded so close to my ear, like if somebody was to bend down by my window, but it wasn't like there was no sound coming from the window. It was coming from the wall that my head was facing, coming to my ear. So it was like, yo, yeah, bro. And it got, bro, I'm gonna scare you right now because this is how it sounded. It was like, you know what I mean? So it was
Dude.
like it was, bro. It was like, cause I know it wasn't me because I'm like this. This is how, yeah, you like how you're doing it. We're like, but this shit went, and bro, I swear to God, dude, I was like, I don't know if that was a ghost or alien, fam. So I just know, like, a lot of the times when you go to sleep, we are in a like in a higher conscience, you know what I mean? We're more in tune with the like
Right.
you know, like, you know what I mean, astral projecting and shit.
Yep.
So
I've heard quite a
I'm
few
not
astral
sure if I just
projection
put
stories.
too much. So I'm not sure if I just put that energy while I was going to sleep, and since I'm in Arizona and there's desert, I'm pretty sure someone just linked in with my energy and was just like, yo, like mimicking me, you know? So I was like, what the fuck? But that's not my paranormal story. This one's gonna be badass.
So when I was a kid, it was like Halloween. I was like hopped up on all sorts of candy, trying to get to sleep because I had school in the morning and shit.
Right.
And so I remember like I was like under my sheets because I like to like sleep with my covers over my head when I was that young. And I remember taking the covers off my head and looking up, and it looked like there was a guy hanging from a noose right over my head, and his feet were dangling over my head. And it was the scariest thing I'd ever seen because it was so realistic. And I know it wasn't sleep paralysis because I got up and got the fuck out of there. And then I come in like 30 minutes later after like calming down from the panic attack, and he's gone. And then I like the next morning I'm like, Mom, did anybody die in our house? Like, is our house haunted or something? She's like, oh yeah, no, we had to get an exorcism once. Like, this guy who built our house killed himself in your room. Like, wow, thanks for letting me know about that till now.
Oh,
It was the
man.
scariest experience of my life. Yeah, I had a couple like that in that house. It's a fucking spooky place.
I was like around 9 years old, I believe, and my mom was out of state for work, so it was just me and my older brother there. And I'm usually across the street, you know, playing with neighbors, you know, jumping on the trampoline. And my brother never really cleans. He doesn't really do that much, but he decides to clean one day. And I'm over there at the neighbors just jumping on the trampoline, and my brother comes out screaming like, "Hey, I think we have an intruder. Someone's breaking into the house." And the reason why he came to get me is because he wanted to know if I was there, you know, at the house. And that he heard it coming from the back of the house. There's no back door, so he assumed they were breaking in through the window, and he just came like to grab me because I'm right across the street, like right there.
Right.
And I'm like, no, there's nobody there. And bro, his story is so legit because after he told me that, I started having like weird happenings in the house. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
his story was he was making a bowl of cereal and he heard something from the back room. So
Right.
he he drops his spoon and he leaves the evidence just to prove that he didn't go back to like doing his own thing. So he runs to the back room, he says, and nobody was there. And then he hears somebody in the kitchen where he was at, and the drawers were open. So he didn't even go towards the kitchen. He just seen it from, because you know how there's islands and you can look over the island and see the kitchen.
Right.
He just saw that the drawers were open, and he took off running to come get me, saying that somebody was in the house. And we go back, dude. All the windows are locked. We do have a side door, but that's where he was at eating his cereal, and it was locked. Like, how can someone leave the house and lock everything? You know what I mean? And it's like, from where I'm at, I can see the front door, so I didn't see nobody leave the front door besides my brother running out screaming. So I was just like, how can anybody leave the house? So they have to still be inside if there's commotions and, movement around. So
Yeah, that ain't natural.
we searched everything. Nobody, yeah, nobody was there. Nobody was there. And next thing you know, I'm probably gonna figure out a little bit, but in my room there was always like footsteps, you know what I mean, on top of my roof, and I'm like, oh no, that's just the probably like rats or something, I don't know, but we didn't have an infestation, nothing was wrong. And then the top of my roof started having some water damage. You know how like you see like a dark brown, like kind of like how a kid would stain his bed from peeing, you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
a dark
right.
yellow
Right. You gotta. I
on the
work.
stain.
I'm an electrician. I
So
work closely with construction, so I'm very familiar. It's
yeah,
it's
so
just like the
like
change in
water
color.
damage. Yeah, so water damage, I was told, can't be fixed. Once there's water damage to a roof, you know what I mean? Like it's there permanently unless you replace it, you know? So with like within a week, I was seeing my roof have a dark colored yellow tint to it, like water damage, and the next thing you know, it just disappears. On some real shit. It disappears, bro, and I told somebody that and they're like, water damage doesn't just disappear at all like that within that time period. So I don't know what that was, but I was only 9 years old, 9 years old, bro. So in the back of the house was always cold, you know what I mean? And that's where my room is at. And I was heard like footsteps at the middle of the night on the roof, like up in the ceiling, and fucking
Very
it
strange.
was just crazy, dude. And one day I got into it with my mom, and this is my last one, and I was just like, damn, dude, like I don't want to close the door and get in trouble. I'm already in trouble, I'm mad, but I'm gonna make sure I close the door right and not slam it. And before I could even close the door, it slams, bro. And my mom goes, why are you slamming the door? They don't be like cussing, don't be slamming the fucking door like that. And I was just like, I didn't slam it. So yeah, man, that was the paranormal experience. I was like, dude, something in that house was feeding off the negative energy, to be honest, because I think that's what it was. It was a lot of negative energy around there with my brother, and then like I was like 9 years old, so I was still attached to having a parent around. So it
Right.
was angry to just not have any like, parents around. So it was just built up a lot of built up energy, and I felt that whatever was there was just feeding off that. And I finally did some research, and I guess where I was living at, all around that area used to be a old like cemetery. Like people used to
Get out of here.
get buried over there and stuff. Yeah, and I'm telling you, I've only talked about this throughout my years. So the older I got, the more shit unraveled. And they're like, oh yeah, not just where my house is at, the whole area from where I'm like where I was playing at my friend's house, like all around that area was used to be a whole funeral, or not funeral, cemetery.
Cemetery. Yep.
And it's just, yeah, just it's like it was like so long ago though, like way back in the times, like cowboy times,
Hmm.
because I'm from Arizona, so like people,
Wild Wild
there
West.
was no streets or nothing, it was just straight, Yeah, Wild Wild
I
West.
know. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. It was a great night, great stories. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace.